didn't have a television screen at home, but 2,000 books on cupboards and shelves. I was always reading books on missionary doctors. David Livingstone, British. Paul White, Australian, Africa. And I thought 50 years ago, I'm 63 now, I want to lead a very similar life. I met Tina 46 years ago, my high school sweetheart. And it didn't take long to find out that we both shared exactly this ambition. We wanted to serve as medical doctors in a third world country, so-called third world, lifelong. Well, we got a good training. My wife is a pediatrician. I'm a surgeon, trained in the UK, in the United States of America, South Africa, at the Baragwanath Hospital. I know there are some South Africans, so you know the Baragwanath Hospital outside of Soweto in Germany. In '91, we took a long trip to South America as backpackers. We had 3 months available to see Machu Picchu and the wonders that the country has to offer. We met the Quechua people, the rightful descent of the ancient Incas. There are about 10 million of them in Peru. They live in misery and poverty. That's a typical kitchen. They work very hard in the fields, hardly any money to make, and many have no access to modern medical health care. Big tumor on the sole of the foot. When we left Peru in '91, 33 years ago, we thought, let's come back to build a modern hospital exactly for these people. Well, 5 years we served as missionary doctors in Ecuador, at a jungle hospital. My wife Tina, an outpatient. I was the only surgeon of the hospital. Did pretty much everything, taking out the gallbladder, the stomach, C-sections, hysterectomies. Very diverse, very interesting. But we never lost the vision to start a new mission hospital. We wrote a project proposal. We founded a charity organization, my wife Tina on the right-hand side. And we moved to Curahuasi, that's a district in the south of Peru, very close to Machu Picchu, a 3 hours ride from Cusco. We purchased outside of town a property, and we came up with the design work, hundreds of calculations, a 2-level hospital, 15 specialties, the wards right here, an intensive care unit, operating theaters, labor and delivery, A&E, X-ray. We thought, hopefully with a CT scanner. There was not a single hospital in the state of Apurimac, Peru got 24 states, with a CT scanner. But Tina and I, we faced a serious problem. No money at all. We were the only white family among thousands of Quechua people. We purchased this house, $11,000. We had to change the roof, our nice modern kitchen. We hired 10 workmen trying to fix things up. It wasn't that easy, but at night we recovered on the mattresses. Dominic, Natalie, Florian, my wife, myself. That's how about 3 months passed. They celebrate La Fiesta de la Santa Catalina, it's the richest Catholic holiday, every year in November. In 2003, for the occasion, these boys and girls had dressed up as doctors and nurses. And taking this photo, I thought it would be so nice if these girls and boys could work in the future as professionals at our hospital. That's a great idea. But first we have to build the hospital, I'm afraid. $4 million, building, 6 million equipment, 1,000 supporters that help us one way or another, and people willing to move there. They have to live in primitive houses with their children to work really, really hard without payment from us. We're not interested in salaries, no, that's their problem. And with this idea, we returned to Rio 2004 in the middle of an economic crisis. Unemployment rate above 10% in Germany, a lot worse in France and Italy and Spain. People were scared. And here, Klaus and Tina with photos, a luxury hospital for the poor in Peru. And I don't know whether you're not Germans, we are very serious people. Please don't talk any nonsense to me. Well, we have given so far over 3,300 presentations. Every red dot is a city visit by us in Germany, Netherlands, Belgium, Switzerland, Austria, Italy, Spain, England, Ireland, up and down the motorway. Every year to the United States of America, Canada, Australia. In 27 countries, we have shared our vision, to talking to Christians and non-Christians, Catholics and Protestants. 555,000 kilometers, so that's 350,000 miles, I guess, on European, Northern American, Australian highways, We speak at evangelical churches, a Baptist church in Berlin, Catholic churches, Rotary clubs, Lion clubs, Kiwanis clubs, universities, schools in Enniskillen, Ireland, at the Spring Harvest Festival several years ago, Melbourne, Australia, to hundreds of Australians, at the Fourth World Congress of Pediatric Surgeons, the Hindus, Buddhists, Muslims, agnostics, atheists, listening to a story of faith. The Sunday schools are busy, the Boy Scouts. Now this lady, she has been preparing muesli granola in her kitchen for 15 years. She invests about 10 hours on a weekly basis to support Diospi Suyana, and private people over the years have organized 1,700 events at Christmas Ferry right here to support our ministry. Media reports, radio, television, the press. This is a very nice article, came out in the Good News a newspaper in England, Hospital Built by Prayer, but this is non-Christians, the Weekly Mail, a Sunday Post, Hospital of Hope. Well, that's how we started, 2004, always on the go, typical workaholics. And Tina, my wife, she wrote over 1,000 handwritten letters that year. Hardworking. I was so smart to marry her. Really. But in 6 months, we got only 251 donations, 70 people, 25, 30. Well, it's great to get a donation, but impossible to build a $10 million hospital. And at this point where we had failed, faith comes in. We had the inner conviction, God will bless this. We have to carry on 1,500 donations till the end of the year. I visited 250 companies, almost all decided to support our ministry, the lights, the lamps for the hospital, from Lima, Peruvian donation, Mexico, the accessory for our bathrooms, an oxygen generator from the United States of America, the lab equipment, Roche, Switzerland, the same stuff you have here at the big hospitals in London and Manchester. Siemens donated for the first time ever a CT scanner to a hospital in South America. I have to tell you the story. I knocked the door, Siemens and Philips, the Dutch competition, emails, phone calls, presentations. December 2006, we got a phone call, a certain Dr. Klaus-Dieter, he talked to Tina, my wife, on the phone and said, we're considering the donation of a CT scanner. Wow, what a Christmas present. In February 2007, I visited the headquarters of Siemens Medical Solutions in Erlangen, close to Nuremberg. He told me why. He said, what a story. I'm the director of communications since October last year. It was my first week in that capacity. And they showed me your letter, your request, and said, please, Dr. Feldhaus, send this guy in Peru a negative response. But he started reading my letter. It became clear to him that Diospi Suyana is a faith ministry, trusting God. He was very moved. He's Catholic. He talked to the CEO of Siemens Medical Solutions, the president, Professor Reinhardt. Can we help? And this Professor Reinhardt, he is German, he is tough. He said, we never ever help. Because if we have one exception to the rule today, tomorrow, we get hundreds of letters from all around the world. This is nonsense. But 2 weeks later, a German couple, doctors as we, they wanted to establish a special health center in Thailand, Asia. Good friends of the president. Well, he can do what he wants. He did support them. Dr. Feldhaus walked back and said, Professor Reiner, you told me the other day we never ever help. We are just sending lots of money to your friends in Thailand. Let's look at this fly. Looks great, this idea. This hospital in Peru. Let's have another exception to the rule. Siemens, for the first time ever, and for the last time, I promise, donates a CT scanner to a hospital in South America. It was published in their magazine Siemens World in many languages to 400,000 members of the company. CT for the descendants of the ancient Incas. Laying down the first stone on the 20th of May 2005, a hospital that wants to glorify God, serve the Peruvian, the Quechua people. And we're hoping to open this place till the end of April 2007. But after 17 months of fundraising, Tina and I raised that much of the 10 million. We don't get any money from Bill Gates or the government, no credits, no loans. We don't spend money we don't have. We always pray that God would help us. 3,000 people celebrating with us. In my speech, I quoted Luke chapter 4. Jesus said, I'm to give eyesight to the blind. I'm here to lead the captives free. And I said, that's why we're here. We were looking for a civil engineer, somebody willing to supervise the construction, somebody, of course, competent, healthy, experienced, who had to do the whole work for us completely free of charge. Well, I'm afraid I have to tell you this morning, we didn't find anybody. Came the 16th of February 2005, I'm in Wiesbaden, my hometown, in a small apartment. On the desk, 51 pages of small print, a contract between Diospi Suyana, that's us, and the construction company Constructech, $4 million without equipment. And next to me, a lawyer. He's an expert on international labor laws. And now reading 51 pages interrupted by his explanations. And suddenly said, you know what, Dr. John, I'm also a member of a charity group. We're 25 people from all over Germany. We support an orphanage in Sao Paulo, Brazil, street children. And one of us used to work as a civil engineer. I got so nervous. What is his name? Well, his name is Udo Clemens. Why? Do you have his telephone number with you? Well, 19 years ago, he didn't grab his cell phone. He was looking in his bag, a little booklet with telephone numbers. The number's right here. Asked for a little break to make an instant phone call to Mr. Clemens, somebody I never met before in my life. And he's on the phone. I said, Mr. Clemens, I'm calling from Wiesbaden. We're doctors, want to build a hospital in Peru. And as Germans, I'm afraid we are not as polite as you are in England. We aren't. Let's talk of the issue. We don't want to waste time here. Could you run the show a year or two, whatever it takes, but we're not paying anything? He's very quiet. And they said, Dr. John, I live 1 hour north of Frankfurt. If you wish, you can see me tonight. Let's talk things over. Evening hours, my presentation, they listen attentively. And then his wife, Barbara, told me something I will never forget. She said, Dr. John, we are Lutheran Christians. 3 days ago, we started praying to God for a special purpose in our lives. And this morning, we're sitting in our kitchen, pondering our hearts. God, what is it? We're here to serve you. And we prayed, amen. Within 5 minutes, you called us. Somebody we never met before. Well, this little Clemens and his wife, they came to Peru in 2005. He built the hospital, 2.5 years. Our eye and dental clinic, 1 year. Also the kids club, 1 year. The school, 2.5 years. Well, he has been with us over 10 years, working 8 hours every day. And I kept my promise, of course. We didn't pay him a penny, as I promised. Working on the platform, no guaranteed budget, always living this uncertainty. God help us to pay the bill to the construction company, the first foundation, the laundry of the hospital. 22nd of June 2006, 3 people show up at night. Where are you from? From the Government Institute of Culture. It's a big project, but you don't have our license. Perhaps another Machu Picchu underground, Potro the Incas. What you're doing is illegal. Here comes the letter. It's over, folks. No more. A fine, $700,000 American dollars. The death nail. Well, we panicked. Of course we panicked. We prayed. Of course we prayed. And we called the German ambassador. Could you help us to have a meeting with the Peruvian President Alan Garcia or the First Lady Pilar Nores? And he said, nonsense, impossible. But I just need to have a meeting with the First Lady of Peru, Pilar Nores. This politician had arranged it. And ever since, Pilar Nores is our matrina, our godmother. We got this in writing. And this document sent to us by the Institute of Culture, straight into the bin. Straight into the bin. Nobody wanted to mess with the president or his wife. The construction moving on. A few months later, the outdoor theater, the amphitheater, November 2005, 30 pastors working together as role models. And over the following 4 months, 750 people joined in working for free. November 2005. I had a meeting with 3 directors of Telefónica Peru. It's a big Spanish company on telecommunication in many Latin American countries. They came actually from Madrid, and the German ambassador arranged for the meeting. I give my little speech, and I asked for a satellite dish, telephone, internet, because 19 years ago, in Kurawasi, no smartphones, no internet. And they said, sounds interesting, but where on earth is Curawasi located? We need a map of Peru. Well, 700 miles down south of the mountains. Well, we have to think about it. Perhaps we help, perhaps we don't. We will see. 2004, 5, 6, 7, 8, over 20 years I'm traveling. To sum it up, 6 months every year, 1 month in Peru, and then the States, back in Peru, and England, Spain. I haven't seen my wife because of my travels 8 years. And Tina says, perhaps that's the reason why our marriage is so successful. Must be, I don't know, pretty sense of humor. I returned to Peru on the 9th of December. At midnight, I walked through customs. They confiscated my projector, the dip projector I'd used to raise millions of dollars. And they told me, well, you didn't fill out the customs declaration form. You're a smuggler, a naughty boy. They took it away. Another bad news, a phone call from Telefonica. And a very sweet secretary told me, Dr. John, the directors decided, unfortunately, we can't help you. No satellite dish. But all the best for the future, she said. All the best. I was so disappointed. I spent 90 minutes with these top directors. Helped nothing. A few days later, I enter this building in downtown Lima, 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Inside a company, they sell projectors. And they have 3 models available for sale. I hook up my laptop, projector 1, 2, 3. I run the whole presentation and trying out the different machines. And now they're listening attentively. What is this strange, what is this gringo with his ugly German accent saying? I'm through with my last photo. A man walks up me from the corner behind, and he asked me, is it true that Telefonica does not want to help you with a satellite dish? It was part of my presentation. I said, no, 3 days ago, a definitive negative response. Well, this is my business card. My name is Dante Pasalacqua. I happen to be the president of the IMSAT company. We're a competitor of Telefonica. We have the same equipment. Please tell this story to my board of directors. That's what I did. IMSS in the south of Lima, Dante Pasalacqua signed a form. We got a satellite dish, telephone, internet, hardware, software used for free. It's still running, 18 years, a $400,000 donation. How to explain this? In a city of 8 million people, perhaps 10, who knows? 3 days after the negative response by Telefonica, I happened to meet the president of the competing company in a small electronic shop. Why is it there behind in the corner? How strange. Well, the owner of the shop is his cousin. A family visit. A very strange German accent, many photos, deeply moved. $400,000. It's getting difficult to explain this based on mathematical probabilities, even for Richard Dawkins, not that easy. They wanted to publish in the mass media, paid flight tickets. Here comes Doris Bailey, famous journalist. She used to work for Somos, the leading magazine, looks like the Time magazine in the United States, 3 pages. And Somos, Angel of the Andes, Udo Clemens, Tina, myself, and hundreds of thousands learned about a most interesting project. A week later came a truck, a donation of 600 bags of cement worth $5,000. And I asked the driver, please tell me, who's behind that most generous donation? Well, his name is Guido de Castillo. He got gold mines, copper mines. He saw the article in Somos, wants to help you. I got on the phone. Here, Castillo, gracias. Thank you so much. Could I visit you in Lima to show a little PowerPoint? Venga nomás, come along, de Castillo. My laptop, the story, and I said, well, we're just about to build the roof. We need 55 tons of steel. What do you think? No response, but 4 days later, an email, Klaus, I will help you. 3 trucks with all the steel you need. Why did he help us? He didn't go to church Sunday morning. Well, I don't know. But 6 months previously, his son Andres, at the age of 21, jumped out of the airplane. The parachute didn't open. He plummeted to death. Till he died 4 years ago. He supported $180,000, made contact with the media, one article in Proactivo. It's a magazine on mining. 5,000 readers, directors of mining companies. It's not a lot, 5,000, but it was read by Renato Canales, the director of the leading news channel on TV. He invited me over, saw the presentation, 5 television reports on the 2nd TV channel Peru on the Hospital of Faith. As I said, à l'Hôpital de la Fe. We had so far 63 television reports in Peru. This was TV Channel 5, Miracle high up in the mountains had 4 million TV spectators. The big day, the 31st of August 2007, the schools are marching. I said, only God can do a lot with very little, everything with nothing. All the glory to God. And the First Lady, Pilar Norris, cutting the red ribbon, a big cake, 2 meters wide. A lot of cake, but not enough to feed 4,500 people. Outdoor theater, 9 television teams, and they show these documentaries in many Latin American countries. The leading newspaper, El Comercio, the Hospital of Faith, has opened its doors. They come from all the 24 states, traveling 10, 20, 30 hours, lining up sometimes, or queuing, as you say in England, 500 meters. The waiting area packed full, and here we show every day, in the morning, in the afternoon, the most important movie of all times, Gone with the Wind. Well, we show the Jesus film, of course. And we had patients, 500,000 coming in last year, very poor couple from the jungle. Now we are up close to 550,000 patient visit, and they've come, as you can see, from all the 24 states of Peru. As the only hospital in South America, we start every morning, Monday to Friday, with a church service, a message of repentance, forgiveness, the cross of Christ, the empty tomb. Our pastor, he has been with us now for 9 years. He used to live in the streets of Abancay, the capital of our state, as a drug addict, always looking for thin paper to pray his joints of marijuana. And there's this book with 1,000 thin pages, the ideal solution to prayer, 1,000 joints of marijuana. Tearing out the 5 pages, he started reading the first page. It was the Bible. He told me his story many times. I was sitting outside of town. The weeks passed. This book talked to me. A transformed life. Now is our pastor now for 9 years. My wife is a pediatrician. I do gastroscopies, colonoscopies. John Lenting, Dutch, has been with us 13 years, has done 100,000 ultrasound exams, 6 operating theaters, as you have in London, Manchester, the same equipment. He's operating Lucas Steffen, Swiss surgeon, on a broken tibia. Famous pediatrician from Sheffield, Ollie O'Neill, and his wife working with us on a 3-year ticket as a physiotherapist. Car accidents. Now, if you cannot see blood, you have to close your eyes. I warn you, an arm cut through with electric power. Powered so. Well, our surgeons operated 6 hours fixing arteries, veins, nerves, muscles, and bones. You can open your eyes at the arm. He got sensation on the skin, strength in his muscles. An extraordinary result. He's carpenter by trade. Here comes a mom, 58 years old. She has 8 children. She lives, well, she has plants, beans and corn high up on the fields in the south of the country, and here she got an aortic abdominal aneurysm. It's a time bomb. It can rupture any time. Then she got 2 minutes left to say goodbye to her husband and her children. Well, she was operated on in one of our operating theaters, the aneurysm, in ICU, heading home. She is saved. She is fine. Well, we've got the best equipment, but we also believe in the power of prayer. At 12-year-old, he was well buried under stones and sands. According to witnesses, this little boy couldn't breathe for 20 minutes. How come? You all know that after 3 minutes, the first brain cell died. Well, they took him to the hospital. All the evidence of brain death, nothing appeared, the heart still beating. On the ventilator, no progress. The days pass. The question comes up, when are we going to switch off the ventilator? In walked Gladys Hurtado, one of our proven colleagues. She knelt down in ICU and she prayed aloud, God, if this kid without any hope will be saved, fine, neurotically, I will organize his next birthday party. I'm 63. I've had thousands of prayers, Baptists, Methodists, Orthodox, Catholics, you name it. Anything like this, never. A few days later, my wife Tina, right next to the patient's bedside, he opens his eyes, and his first word, being a boy of 12-year-old, gracias, thank you. That happened 5 years ago. He's totally fine. His birthday party and Claire's paying Coca-Cola, Fanta, cakes, chocolate, as she had promised and prayed on her knees. Watch out, be careful what you pray. You have to pay the bill at the end. Our orthopedic workshop, a 4-year-old was born without a lower leg. He got a prosthetic made. He learned the use of it. His face totally changed. 47 years of age, 5 teeth left in the mouth. There are hundreds of thousands in the mountains of Peru that looks very similar. Eye clinic, dental clinic, 85,000 patients looked after. Maliluko, she's dentist from Switzerland. We met in the south of Germany, close to the Swiss border, at a McDonald's restaurant. Yes, I wanted to hear a story. At the age of 18, struggling with a lymphoma, stage 4 cancer, 6 months chemotherapy. And he said, Klaus, I'm here, I'm alive. I want to serve at the mission hospital for 2 years. This is my way to say thank you to God. But Marlene stayed 4 years with us. CAT scan does out of blocks of ceramics, crowns in perfection, a patient prior and after the treatment. A 7-year-old came from Puno, a 10 hours ride on a bus, eventually lining up, queuing. She made it in, they operated both eyes. Christmas 21, the first time that she could see her mum's and her dad's faces with clarity. In November 2005, my wife Tina and Lyndall Maxwell, Australian, founded the first Diospi Suyana Kids Club. Crafts, Bible stories, a prayer and sports, interesting stuff. 40 sheep in the street, not enough room inside. In 2012, we opened the building for our kids club. Udo Clemens, of course, built it. And over the years, Monday to Friday, according to age groups, thousands, I can just take a guess, between 5,000 and 10,000 different children have felt loved and appreciated. The hospital right there, we purchased another property, built a school for 600 boys and girls under construction, the school of Diospi Suyana. I can do everything through Jesus Christ, who gives me the strength, quoting Paul. Experiments in science, music classes for catchword children, a gym with an elastic floor, the same standard you have here, and you have here in London. And here comes the Peruvian president, Ollanta Humala. He just landed with his helicopter, a revolutionary, in jeans, of course, running through the hospital, running to the helicopter, and he asked me, what do you want? I said, well, a meeting with you and your wife at the palace. That's fine. 5 days later, we met at the palace. My wife, Tina, the First Lady, Nadine Heredia, our gynecologist, this presentation. And I said, Mr. President, we're totally convinced that the real architect of our hospital is Jesus Christ. A frozen silence, not a single word. But I was invited by the Minister of Health, and he said the President Ollanta wants to copy this hospital in other departamentos, in other states. And I said, impossible, forget about it. You've got money, but you don't have faith in action. The missionaries that arrived at the airport with their babies to serve for 3, 5, or 10 years without receiving a salary from us, an expression of their faith in Jesus Christ. This morning we have 56 long-term missionaries from many countries. This includes England. Doctors, nurses, administrators, social workers, teachers. We had 250 long-term missionaries so far from these countries. Well, they built support groups, of course, and they all lost so much money you wouldn't believe it, because donations never match the salaries they previously earned in their home countries. What is the power that can overcome human selfishness? Well, we are Baptists. I grew up Baptist. We say they've been called by God. But what does it mean to be called by God? An example, 6th of March 2018, I'm on the ward next to me, our urologist, David Brady. He's Austrian Jewish. He was with us 10 years as a missionary. I asked him, David, tell me, we are going to stay till when? Well, in June 2020, because then our oldest daughter is supposed to attend secondary school in Bamberg, in the south of Germany. Wow. They have to look for a replacement, another missionary urologist who will come and join us to work really hard without payment. That's always the idea, no? And I was reminded that 11 months previously, after one of my presentations, I talked briefly to a young urologist. I rush into my office. I find his email address at lunchtime. This is my message. Dear Mr. Sawyer, could you provide me with your telephone number? I would like to call you. Typical German, keep it brief. Well, there's a 7-hour time difference between South America and Germany. My message got to his laptop at 7:18. 19 hours previously, his wife Lena gave birth to their 5th child, labor and delivery B5, hospital Mosbach at midnight. Everything great, don't worry, everything great. At 1:30, Benjamin is driving up a hill outside of Mosbach. There's a cross. And he wants to kneel down to say thank you to God. Everything was fine. And as he kneeled down, it's chilly at 1:30 in March, he's praying things he didn't intend to say. God, the kids we have, 5. But what is your purpose for our family now? What's happening here? Didn't we drive up to pray for purpose? Can't explain this. Very strange, supernatural, I guess. In the morning, Lena's discharged from this hospital with a newborn. He has a million things to do. Benjamin, at night at 7:30, this conversation. Lena, how are you? Fine. How's the baby? Fine. Lena, last night at 1:30, I drove up to the cross, no, to pray. And suddenly I prayed things I didn't want to say for purpose. And I don't know what it means. And he said, do you know that 10 minutes ago came an email from this Dr. Klaus-Dieter John, who spoke at our city hall 11 months ago. She pauses and asked, when are we going to leave Germany? 19 hours after giving birth to a 5th child, they left Germany, they sold their house, they donated the money to mission societies. He was born at midnight, that's Lena. Our urologist has been with us now for 3.5 years. There's a very popular television channel, Fox, etc., superficial stuff, in Switzerland, Austria, Germany. 52 minutes, goodbye Germany, telling the story of a young urologist praying at 1:30 at night. Millions of atheists and agnostics in Germany have seen this story. Hundreds of patients inside, outside, we are full. The people angry, they traveled so far. They were just about to storm into the hospital of violent force. And I'm standing here, keep calm, folks, let's find a solution. There is none, because every day more patients come than we can attend. And they shouted, why didn't you tell us on the radio that you don't have more tickets? Coupons, as they say. That's a good idea. Radio, television, healthcare, education, prevention, family faith was built right next to the hospital. Again, Pilanoris cutting the red ribbon. My wife, Tina, the mayor of Kuravasi, 3 levels, 2 television studios, 2 radio studios. My wife talking a healthcare subject. We have 12 FM towers in the south of the country. 50% of people living in these 5 states can tune in. Puerto Maldonado, rainforest. Here we reach 250,000 Peruvians since the 1st of July 2018. 2 days later, in the morning hours at 5:49, a young man called in, 35 years old, a watchman. And he said, I'm totally shattered. My wife took off with another guy. I was just about to shoot a bullet into my brain. But there was a radio. This God is real. There is hope. I didn't pull the trigger. We have worked on this tower at least 6 months. We're switching on the transmitter, saving the life of a young man in a personal crisis. COVID, Sunday, 22nd, here comes the governor and 4 healthcare directors. They want to see the hospital. My wife Tina offering a guided tour. You've got 10 ICU beds and brand new ventilators and oxygen generators at the only hospital of the state of Apurimac. Then we can send our COVID patients to your place. And about the payment, let's talk. Well, we negotiated, signed the treaty, my wife, myself, the governor of the state, invested a lot of money. But unfortunately, the government didn't fulfill its promises. They didn't, nothing. And now happened something very dangerous. One of the two congressmen of Apurímac in Parliament in Lima, a traumatologist, he thinks we are competition, he introduced a law that said that in the pandemic, the government can control private hospitals. The first step to a nationalization. Over the past 100 years, corrupt governments all over the world have confiscated, nationalized hundreds of mission hospitals. Well, we went public, Facebook, YouTube, radio, Diospi Suyana in danger, a message to all Peruvians. Within a few days, 1.6 million entered our social sites, left thousands of commentaries to support Diospi Suyana, and that really saved us. We had 4 testing stations, our outdoor theater, 2,300 patients diagnosed with COVID-19. Lower level, we kept going. Upper level was just COVID, a transfer from another city. Our COVID ICU looks very much like in London or Manchester or Liverpool. A very difficult case. He had sepsis, cardiac arrest, pulmonary embolus, was discharged home 5 weeks later. From 124 severe COVID patients, 94 survived. Results like you have in England or the States or in France. Over 1,000 people, Christians, non-Christians, Catholics, Protestants, support our ministry. Private people have donated 35 million, the company's 10, we're up to $45 million without asking for money in public presentations. The 15th anniversary, 31st of August 2022, in the presence of Nicolas Luca, the most popular television presenter of Peru, he is atheist. And the next day, on his television show, he said, yesterday I went to Apurímac to celebrate with Diospi Suyana, and he said, they have a power that has overcome human selfishness. Diospi Suyana Kids Club, the hospital, the school, the radio, television, and Woodstock. Like in the olden days, thousands of young children, teenagers, young people living in tents, like the Greenbelt Festival. My wife Tina went to England 8 times to attend the Greenbelt Festival, the first time in '79. And when we were planning this with 10 Christian bands, I was reminded of Karina Pereira. She has been with us till 2020, a very sweet, capable, proven lady. And I called her on the 22nd of October, Karina, where are you? In Lima. What are you doing? Working for the government? Karina, we need you here. Christian Youth Festival, thousands of young people. Well, she's Christian, always praying about her decisions, always reading her Bible. And this morning she was reading Psalm 80, but the Bible in Spanish, there are 15 different translations. And she was reading NTV, Nueva Traducción Viviente, like the New Living Bible in England. She was reading, then the next day, Psalm 81, right? 80, 81, what does it say? Let's call it together a festival. It's the only Spanish translation that use in Psalm 81, let's, well, organize a festival. Interesting. Well, she quit her job. Now she's with us. We're paying her a lot less money than the government. This is Corovasi, the hospital, our amphitheater, capacity 4,000 people. The bus is circulating, camping 1 to 3, our school, the stadium, cinema, a sport ground. They came from 14 different states of Peru. Here we have room for 3,000 young people in tents. Rojo, a Christian band from Mexico, and then here another band from Bogotá, Generación 12. And in the break, always 2 people shared why we are Christians. So 5 nights, 10 bands. Passion, enthusiasm, memories they never forget. And this year, Gozo joined the Andes with 10 bands from 10 different countries. 800 young people talked to pastors and missionaries. 800 changed lives, many tears shed. Famous John Lennox. He said the story of Diospi Suyana Hospital is a remarkable example of what happens when people take God seriously. He's a Christian, as you know, but Stephen Nolan is not a Christian. He's atheist, BBC 5. He said a story of medicine, money, miracles. Deutsche Welle television, 25 minutes, a TV documentary in English all around the globe, Spanish, South America, in Arabic, Northern Africa, Iraq, Yemen, Egypt, on the Hospital of Hope, where we even pray before we operate on our patient. The books in 7 languages, now 3 books in English on the table between the doors. You can take them for donation, but don't start reading in the evening hours. So I've done this. Reading all night long, I had a splitting headache in the morning. Don't do this. Well, let's finish up. Crossing a mountain range in the Andes on the 16th of December 2008. I'm right here. Next to me, our urologist, Dr. David Brady. It's foggy, we couldn't see, rainy, dark. And we hit really badly by a truck and a trailer. I'm here, but I did survive with a broken clavicle and blood in my face. And then as we got out, we realized that the car stopped with the wheels right on the edge of the cliff. God saved our lives, David's and mine, in a traumatic way, that's true. But every day can be the last day of my life, the last day of your life. My mom died 2010, my father died 2011. That's my father's tomb. Wiesbaden City Cemetery, right here, 10 meters, there's my cousin Sabine, her name. She was 47. She went to the eye doctor, I think classes, routine stuff. They found a melanoma in her eye. It was removed. And then she had liver, pulmonary metastases, brain metastases. She passed away. I've been a doctor now for 35 years. I've seen so many patients dying in front of me, especially in South Africa, working at the Baragwanath Hospital. And I always wondered, is there any hope after death? I never wanted to believe in God. I wanted to see God, which is very different. And Paul has written a letter 2,000 years ago, this is all I want, to know Christ. I'm not talking a blind faith this morning, wishful thinking, philosophy. It's a real life experience. It's evidence piled up to the sky, hoping to be raised from death to life. And this story has been communicated on 5 continents now to 100 million people. Hamburger Abendblatt, it's a secular journal in the north of Germany, the doctor connected to God. And I say, well, I guess that's true, but everybody can have this connection to God, trusting the one who died on the cross for our sins, leaving his tomb 3 days later. The most important day in world history, the basis of Diospi Suyana, the only hope I have. The mission hospital, Diospi Suyana. For Tina, for me, it's a vision till they bury us on a graveyard. It's a great passion of thousands of Protestants, Baptists, Methodists, Catholics helping us. Evident that God is real, hope to hundreds of thousands of poor patients. What can we say about it? To summarize, God has become visible. That's me, a 5-year-old, clinging to my father's leg. And nowadays, what do? I cling to the leg of Jesus Christ. Thank you very much indeed.